Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 3 of What If Naruto Had the Ultimate Nature Bloodline. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was personally trained by Kurama after leaving the village, and enjoy that guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be planning talking about to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as Naruto woke up in a panic, as they had all thought that he did not see anything, and given who he was, he loved to keep things to himself, thought that he could get over it, but he had a rather scary dream of that guy slitting his throat once again. In an instant, Kushina, Minato, and Tsunade was in his room, as Minato looked towards the windows as they were all shattered. As Naruto's sound release had just came blurted out of his mouth and destroyed everything, as he still didn't have full control over that yet. They all came down and tried to calm him down, as he finally told them what he saw. As Kushina had thought that Hyuga had blocked his vision, so he did not see what he did see. As Mito and Minma came rushing in as well, as they comforted him as best as they could. They were able to get him over this though, by Minma punching him right in the face, as he wanted Naruto to get back to normal. As it took a while, but he got over it. After all, he was still just a 5-year-old kid, so it wasn't that easy. As the time passed on, his mother talked to him about the eyes that he had, as she told him about the previous leader that had the eyes as well. A meeting between the council members happened as Kushina was furious. They should not give Kumo a damn thing. No one is supposed to risk their life for this. The Raikage was adamant that he did not know about any attacks. It seems like some previous followers of his father wanted to show their loyalty to Kumo. That is why they did this, as he was adamant that he wasn't behind it. But Kushina didn't believe him one bit. After all, they tried to kidnap her when she was younger, and going after her son, she was furious about that. Jiraiya had came by as Naruto and Minma eat toads. It was a deer, so they couldn't sign the summoning contract. A stupid deer that now is costing them. As Mito stick her tongue out at them as she could sign it though, because she wasn't a part of that stupid deer. So as that she did, she signed the summoning contract and she became a toad summoner after talking to Gamabunta. As the girl had massive chakra reserves, Jiraiya was surprised that she was able to do that already. Seems like Kushina was not slacking back on showing him a few things here and there, as Naruto had saw the hand signs, so he copied them. As he did it, Jiraiya's eyes went wide when he heard the kid cried out summoning jutsu, as Naruto was gone. For some reason, Minato couldn't go where Naruto did, as he cursed, as they didn't even know which summoning realm he went to, as they all started to panic. Naruto found himself in front of a giant lion. His mother had told him about them, as Uzumaki's had notes on all the summoning creatures of the world. And his mother had told him about them. Fierce, brave lions. Powerful, indeed. But they rarely assign a summoner to their contract. One might even say that they were even powerful than toads and snakes, because of their mighty jaw and their teeth that seemed to be able to crush anything, and their roars that could deaf someone hearing. As Naruto was greeted by a lion called Gabriel, as he brought him to the head lion called Mufasa. The lion tried to eat Naruto. As Naruto stood his ground, it was just a test though, as the lion wanted to see if he'd run or not. As he offered to make Naruto become the next lion summoning contract holder, which Naruto greatly accepted. He was brought back to Konoha by Gabriel, who roared, as immediately everyone flanked towards the position. As Naruto came off his back. He saw his mother there. She had tears in her eyes as he was confused. He realized that he was gone for so long they were so worried about him. As he hugged her and told her that he was sorry over and over again. As she told him never ever do something like that ever again. As he promised her that he would never. Minato also had a talk with Fukaku. The both of them were trying to come to some common grounds. Recently people have been not liking the Uchihas and their actions, saying that they were being too, well, demanding. Just because the police force was taking a bit too hard. Minato was trying to quell the situation as Danzo was fit on trying to get the Uchihas out of the village, trying to push them back, but Minato was against that. As Hokage, it was his job to make sure that everyone lived comfortably, and that is what he would do. As he warned Danzo once before to not interfere with the clan, he's gonna have to warn him again. This time, he will make himself declared. So yeah guys, that was basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it for yourself. So just to begin this new episode. Hiruzen stood in the open field with a smirk on his face. Recently he has been enjoying his time a lot. He had to say, the worst part of being Hokage was the paperwork, and he did not miss it one bit. So being here spending the rest of his youth, well, he's old, so his old ages, in peace was rather comfortable. All of his kids had grown. Yes, they were grown. None of them were babies anymore that he could fawn over. They all do their own things, had their own families. They had little Konohamaru though. But still, it was nice having the triplets over as well. As Hiruzen stood there, suddenly, someone burst out of a tree. Hiruzen had a staff in his hand that he twirled around. The person had the staff as well as they swing it. Hiruzen blocked that a small friction was created. The man then ducked. As he dodged, few kunais had passed over his head. He twirled his staff to the other person and knocked the person with brute strength over. The person flipped and stabbed the staff in the ground. As the person leaned back, using the staff as a momentum, and threw himself forward. He pulled out 3 shurikens and threw them towards Hiruzen as he went through hand sign. Clone shuriken technique jutsu. The shurikens multiply. As Hiruzen smiled, he simply waved a single hand sign as he breathed in, before releasing as a massive gust blew all shurikens away. He then ducked as he raised his arm, blocking the punch from the kunoichi behind him. Well, not yet, kunoichi in training. He threw her over his shoulder as she flipped in mid-air. She landed gracefully on her feet. She went through a single hand sign as poof. Hundreds of her appear on the field. As all of them came in, Hiruzen spent his time moving about and from left to right, knocking down all the clones, dispelling them. As he looked towards the 2 that was in front of him that remained, after he was finished with the clones, the both of them threw kunais towards him in opposite direction. Before they went through hand signs, the kunais multiplied. Hiruzen leaped straight up in air. As he then saw 2 kunais already in mid-air coming towards him. Smart. But he wasn't a Hokage or known as a professor or as the god of shinobi in his time for nothing. But to his surprise, they poof, showing the face of Menma and Mito, as those were just transformation. The both of them came out as they lashed their fists forward. Still not enough though, as Hiruzen grabbed both of their fists as he came on one hand and twirled them and threw them towards the ground. The both of them hit as they rolled. They slowly got back to their feet as they panted a bit. Alright, that's enough, Hiruzen said. As the both of them came to a stop, Mito dropped right on her butt as she released a long sigh. I'm not tired yet, she said. She forcefully got back to her feet. Neither am I, said Menma. One always need time for rest. The body cannot function at all times, Hiruzen said, as he went into professor mode. Besides, you all surely must be hungry by now. As Mito looked down, as her stomach rumbled a bit, before she laughed. Yeah, I could get something to eat. Me too, said Menma. Well then, let's see how young Naruto-kun is going. As they made their way, arriving towards the personal training ground in Sarutobi compound, they saw him sitting there. Menma had a smirk on his face as he watched his brother, as Naruto was on top of the pond, sitting down, balancing. Around him was small balls of fire contained in small, ripple bubbles of water. A feat that should be impossible, but not with his bloodline, as the fires were contained in small bubbles of water that were not bursting or extinguishing because of the heat. He stood there, his eyes completely closed, the air around him completely shut off. It was like a section of the air was not blown where he was. The water did not ripple or stir at all. It just remained perfectly calm. You could see the bright clouds and the sun that was shining, reflecting off the water. As Naruto then slowly opened his eyes, as the water bubbles evaporated, as a fire folded into one, as it created a miniature fireball before it died out. As Naruto slowly got to his feet with a smile, "I did it," he said as he jumped off the water surface. As Hiruzen smiled, he couldn't believe how much these kids had grown in the past 5 years. Each of them were 10 years old right now. Hiruzen was just astonished by their rate, their growth. He looked towards young Mito. In the past 5 years, there's been a lot of changes. Changes that shock everyone to their very core. As one of those big changes was not Naruto, as surprising, it was the two others. Because Naruto bloodline was rare. It was a bloodline that was something that was impossible, even in the old ages. After all, to be able to control all nature transformation was something incredibly rare. But that was not what surprised everyone. It was the Mokiton return. And despite Naruto having all the nature bloodlines, he's not worked on the Mokiton yet. But it wasn't him, it was the other two. Flashback. As Mito and Menma both stood in the garden. The both of them were 8 years old. As Naruto was the same, given the same birthdays. "Alright, do it," said Menma. As Naruto nodded, as he focused on the yin and yang. The yin being the spiritual energy that the body possesses, and the yang being the physical energy. Mixing those together with wind release, Naruto was able to perform sound release. That is why it came out so suddenly, because yin and yang could be stirred to perform any ninjutsu while it was needed, so mixing that with wind gave you sound release. His mother told him that he wasn't ready for all the aspect in the books yet. There was a lot of books, all the different chakra nature transformations that the past leader of the Uzumaki clan had written down, as the man had mastered them all. His mother told him that some of them were quite dangerous and that he was not ready for all of them yet, and he listened to her. Given his mishap with his son release recently, where he had nearly gone deaf because of a little accident, let's just say he's more careful now. As Naruto slowly went through the hand signs that he saw in the book, "Sound release," he said, rippling airwaves. As Naruto held out his palms, the area in front of his hand seemed to ripple like the air itself was turning. As it blasted towards the tree trembled as the bark was blown off the tree. It was like clothes was being shredded off skin, leaving the naked underline of the tree, the sap and everything revealed. As Naruto turned a smile, "See? Told I would get it down." As they had made a little bet, it took him 3 days to get this jutsu down, as all of it seemed to come rather natural to him. "Show off," said Mito, as Naruto stuck his tongue out at her. "You never said that when you got the chain," said Naruto. As Mito smiled at that as she fired a chain towards him, which he dodged. "Hey, that would have hurt, you know." She recalled her chain, so what, she said. "It's not my fault you're not as awesome as me," said Naruto, as she stuck her tongue out at him. "Come on guys, no fighting today," said Menma. "We're here to train." The both of them turned towards him. "What?" As they said nothing, as they simply turned their head, as Menma shook his head. Most of the time they just couldn't get along. "Alright," said Menma. "So, where is it?" As Naruto reached into his pouch and brought out a note. "And you sure this is everything?" "Yeah," said Naruto, as he had copied from the book. It was what he saw on the Mokiton. "Are we sure this is even gonna work?" said Mito. "I mean, just because we're related to him, because of our grandmother, it doesn't mean that we will get the Mokiton. But however, you will probably get it because you have this bloodline," she says. She rolled her eyes, as Naruto simply smirked. "Don't blame me because I'm awesome," he said to her, as she simply gritted her teeth. "Let's at least just try," said Menma. "I mean, I don't have the chains, and I don't have the super bloodline, but I'm not complaining." "Yeah, I guess you're right," said Naruto. "Alright. So, it's a mixture between the water and the earth element, which we both have." They had all did the tests. Mito possessed water, earth, and wind. Menma possessed the same thing with the lightning as well. And Naruto had all 5. Well, that wasn't to be surprising, seeing that he had all chakra transformations because of his eyes. As they all start to focus, After an hour, nothing happened. Absolutely nothing, as Naruto was confused. He should get this easy, right? Well, his mother did tell him that the past user took a long while. When he was a kid, he couldn't even master half of the bloodlines, which Naruto was a bit angered by, seeing that he was still young and it would take a long while. Hey, said Minma. What is it? Said Naruto. Look. As Minma looked towards Mito, underneath her, the trees were blooming. The small flowers. As Mito had her eyes closed, her hands locked together as she was expelling her chakra. They had taken at least 10 breaks now, as they had been just using her chakra in rapid succession. Minma was shocked. It was actually working. Mito opened her eyes. What? Look. Mito couldn't believe it. As she brushed her hand in the grass. I did this? Yeah, said Minma, as he reached to touch it. But the moment his hand made contact with it, given that he's just released control of his chakra, it started to grow even more as he pulled away his hand. Minma, did you? The both of them looked towards Naruto. In the flashback, Harrison and all of them were alerted by this, as the Mokidan has not been seen since Hoshirama. So for both Minma and Mito to possess at such young age, and at the moment they couldn't use anything strenuous. They couldn't even summon a pillar of wood, but they could mess with the trees and the plants around. They couldn't actually call up the wood from the ground. Well, they were still just 10 years old. But that was still progress. And as for Naruto, he did learn how to move the trees. Well, that is all he could do, just move them. Slightly. Seems like he was harder on learning that. Well, it didn't matter. He has not only been focused on his own release over the past 5 years. There was many others. The more he grew, the more his mother decided to let him go deeper into the book. Although his father thought that he was ready for more, his mother insisted that he was not ready yet. So, Harrison says, he looked towards Naruto. Can I see a demonstration? As Naruto nodded, before he took a deep breath, as he focused on the water and the fire chakra mixing together, before he opened his mouth as steam came out of it. The steam swallowed the entire area, as Harrison tried to blow it away, but it was stuck all around him. As he looked around, I can't see, said Mito. That's the whole point of steam release, said Naruto. The obscured the enemy vision. Whoa, that's awesome, said Minma. So what else can he do with it, he asked. Well, as Naruto started to release more steam from his mouth. Hey, it's getting hot, said Mito as she started to sweat. Naruto took in a deep breath as he absorbed back the steam into his mouth. Before he coughed a bit. Are you alright, asked Harrison. Yeah, said Naruto. Well, I guess there's another one down. As Harrison smiled at the boy, always pushing himself to get things done. And quickly, if you must say. Hey, what about the ice release? As Naruto smiled towards Minma. Glad you asked. Naruto-kun, said Harrison. Are you sure you're up for it? I mean, too much strenuous training can put one body in a bad state. Oh, don't worry, JJ, said Naruto. I'm fine. As he walked back over to the river, he placed 4 fingers into it as he started to mix his wind and water chakra together as the temperature started to drop and drop and drop until the entire small river froze over. Harrison walked over. Remarkable, he said. Truly remarkable. Harrison had no Kaido, and seeing the dojutsu up close, it always fascinated him. It was really remarkable. Harrison tapped the ice, but it broke. Well, I guess it's not that strong, said Naruto, as Harrison just patted Naruto on the shoulder. Don't worry. The more you train, the stronger you will get. He's not the only one you know, said Mito. Of course not, said Harrison. All 3 of you. I can already see it now. Well, become something great in the future. As Mito smiled, yeah. We're gonna be the ultimate trio. The ultimate trio for Konoha. The ones who they call on the difficult missions to hand up and clean up all the bad guys. And we're gonna work in perfect synchrony and defeat all our enemies and protect the entire village, right? As Naruto smiled at that, as he put out his fist, so did Menma as the 3 of them bumped fists. Harrison could already tell. They were growing so fast, as he could already see the future where all of them were incredible shinobis and kunoichi. Time skip. Do we have to, said Naruto. As the three of them made their way along with their mother. Don't you like the Uchiha compound? Asked Kushina. Well, yeah, said Naruto. It's just... Come on. She's not that bad, said Kushina. She's a little sweetheart. Not as sweet as you though, Mito-chan, she said, as she scuffed the girl's cheek. As Mito simply smiled at that, before blushing a bit. I'm the sweetest, right? Yeah, you are, said Kushina, as Mito simply smiled at that. Quick to fall for praises, said Menma. Mito turned towards him with a glare. Aw, you're my handsome boy too, Menma, said Kushina. Don't be jealous. Well, I'm not, he said, as Kushina laughed at that. Always a sharp one, but can't handle frontal interactions. It's gonna be fine, Naruto-kun. Just try to make friends with her. I'm sure that she's... Well, gonna try the same thing. Alright, fine, said Naruto as they made their way towards the Uchiha clan. They arrived as they were let in by the guards. They were brought straight to the clan house. You all made it, said Mikoto with a smile on her face. It's nice to see you too, Mikoto, all of them said. Why don't you guys go around back so me and your mother can talk? Sasuke and Sesame are around back. As the three of them nodded as Naruto and the others made their way. As Naruto arrived, they hear talking. Sesame, said Mito. As Mito rushed over. Standing there was a girl, her hair stopping at the top part of her shoulders. She was standing there with her brother, Sasuke Uchiha. Sesame and Sasuke Uchiha, both of them twins. They were two children of Mikoto Uchiha. They had an older brother, his name was Itachi Uchiha. As Naruto never got along with Sesame that much. Everyone seemed to see her as this princess, as this kind, sweet girl. But she was a devil, she was evil, cunning, and smart. And she always tried to pull one over on him, trying to get him in trouble. Like the time when she sprayed apple juice on him when he was younger. And she told everyone that he had an accident. And from that day on, he kind of hated her. As Menma walked over, "Ew, Sasuke," he said. As Sasuke nodded at him. Sasuke was a rather prideful boy, always trying his best to show Naruto and Menma up, even though he didn't have the strength to do so, well, yet. But the more he grew, the more they grew as well, so it was gonna be rather difficult. What's wrong with him? Said Sasuke. Oh, you know him. Yeah, they don't really get along, do they? As the group walked over as Naruto was standing there. Hey Sasuke, he said. What's up, Naruto? Said Sasuke. Heard you've been training a lot lately. Well, it hasn't paid off. As Naruto eyebrow twitched at that. You wanna fight me, Uchiha? He asks. No fighting today, said Mito, please. We're just here to talk and have fun. I mean, once can you guys just talk and not fight? Alright, fine. Hello, Naruto, said Sesame as she came over. As Naruto ignored the girl. So, what have you been up to, Sasuke? Sesame stopped right in front of his face. Can't you hear me talking to you? Oh, I'm not deaf, I just choose to ignore you, said Naruto. As she simply smiled at that. You look well. Have you shrunk from the last time I saw you? I thought boys were supposed to grow tall. Well, given your facial features, I don't really think that you're a boy sometime. Maybe they made a mistake when you were born, and you're actually a girl. As Naruto eye twitched at that, he looked behind her as he saw Mito and Menma talking to Sasuke. It was always when the both of them are alone. No one else hear her saying these things. Look here, you little... Naruto, said Menma. Just easy. You didn't hear her? Said Naruto. Why do you have to always be so violent with me? Said Sesame. I just want to be friends. Come on, Naruto. As Sesame stuck her tongue out at him as she walked off. She then turned her head back. So, what are we gonna do today? As Naruto grumbled, he really hated it here, just because of that girl. As the time passed by, Mikoto came out and brought snacks for all of them. As the others were over the side eating. As Naruto didn't have a problem with Sasuke, but it was just her. So he stood by himself, eating. After all, he usually spent most time trained by himself, seeing that no one else had the same bloodline that he has. So, he usually studied and trained by himself, so that wasn't a problem. Sesame then came over, as she had a apple juice box in her hand. As Naruto narrowed his eyes at it, as he remembered that dreadful day, she giggled. Oh, you remember? Pissy pants, she said. You know, I'm gonna ignore you. You really think you can do that? She asked. I don't like you, said Naruto. In fact, I think I hate you. Why can't you just leave me alone? Because I hate you too, she said. And why is that? He asked. Because you're this know-it-all who think that you can do everything and think that you're all powerful and strong when you're actually not. You're just a damn show-off, she said. Huh. Bitch, said Naruto. What did you just call me? She said. You heard me. Did you just call me the B word? You know what that means, right? No. Well, not exactly, but you're one because guys call girl that and they always curse back, so I think it's something bad, he said. Apologize. No, said Naruto. Why can't you just leave me alone? She giggled. What the hell's so funny? Are you crazy? No, that word that you just said, it's really bad. If a woman hear you call her that, she would go ballistic. And I'm sure that your mother told you not to disrespect ladies. Yeah, so? You have no idea what you just done, right? What the hell are you talking about? Well, I have never said that word before. And your mother completely adores me, almost as your sister. Of course not, said Naruto. My mother loved me 10 times than she loves you. You're just a friend of a friend. Well, if I told your mother that you call me a B word, what do you think she would say? But I Sesame smile. Thank you for that. Thank me for what? Well, now I can hold this over your head. Because you're gonna do exactly what I say from now on. Like hell I would. Do you really want me to tell your mother that you call me a bitch? A word that is so horrible. I see many females go ballistic and hurt the male counterpart when they say that to them. So, do you want to take that chance? Or are you going to do exactly what I say? As Naruto thought about what his mother told him to always respect ladies, especially when they're kind to you. As he remembered, "Aw, she's so cute," shouldn't have said to Sesame. His mother thought that she was a little princess, that she was the sweetest thing in the world. Just like his sister. Well, his sister was, but this bitch, he said in his mind. She was gonna use it to blackmail him. And his mother. Not to mention, oh, and I'll tell your grandmother as well. Naruto sighed. What do you want? As Sesame smiled at that. She got to her feet. Oh, in all due time, she said, as she walked off. As Naruto sighed, what the hell did he got himself into? He remembered hearing that word from a guy that was cursing with a girl, and it just popped in his mind. He shouldn't have said it. Now his mother's gonna be angry if she find out. And what exactly did she want? He said as he turned his head towards Sesame. Meanwhile, at the office, Jerry was currently sitting down. Along with Minato, the room was completely sealed off, seeing that they were discussing something rather private. As Jiraiya nodded, he's been really quiet after that last spark of light against the Uchihas. Maybe he's plotting something, said Jiraiya. The both of them are currently talking about Danzo. Minato had made it abundantly clear that he should leave Fukaku and his clan alone. He made it as far as to threaten the man, and Danzo had went quiet ever since. So quiet in fact, it was strange. He has never been this quiet before, showing up at meetings and not saying a single word. Or maybe he just finally got the message, said Minato. Before he chuckled, there was no humor in his tone though. Yeah, like you would, he said. And with no evidence against him, you can't really do anything. But he's surely plotting something. The Uchihas, they're on your side now, right? Well, as far as everything goes, yes, said Minato. I have shown them that I can be trusted. All clan in Konoha will stay, as things are right now, given treatment as every clan should. I have made sure that they've got their compound, and that they weren't pushed to the edge of the village. And also, the complaints from the siblings are getting less and less. Seems Fukaku had talked to his clan and gotten them into a state where they can be more calm when it comes to carrying out the law. Well, that's good, said Jiraiya. As he then turned back towards Minato. Well, about Kiri. You know, when you told me that a long time ago, you remember? I thought that you were just spouting nonsense as usual. Well, I was, kind of, said Jiraiya. But now, I can't believe that is really happening. From the reports I've got back from there, a civil war has started. The Stone and Kumo decide to stay out of anything that is happening over there, despite them and Kiri being allies. Well, not that Yagura asked him for any help. It was strange. The man is confining himself to his village and slaughtering all the Hikigenkai users. I don't understand. Why would someone do something like that? After this purge, as he call it, Kiri is gonna be abundantly weak. Not to mention the shinobis that would die, say Minato. The rumors are that the man is being controlled by some other force, or he's just lost it. But there is a rebellion force fighting back though. And I heard that currently the rebellion force is seeking aid from other neighboring villages so that they could take down Yagura. Let me guess, said Minato. No one wants to help them because they don't want to be a part of the Bloody Mist wrath if Yagura won, which he looked like he's gonna do. Well, given the small population of rebellion forces, and Yagura still controlled the Anvu, and not to mention having talk with the water daimyo, yeah. I'm sure that you're gonna come here soon, or probably try to contact me to get to you, said Jiraiya. What do you want to do? At the moment, I'm not sure. We have never had a relationship with Kiri before, but if we help the rebellion, we could lock a agreement with them. And not to mention if we're the only one that does. Yeah, but it's risky. Really risky, said Jiraiya. Yeah, I know, said Minato. Let me think about it. Let's hear if they even have to say anything in the first place. As Jiraiya nodded. So, how are the things, Jiraiya asked? Well, the report I send you is 100% correct. Still can't believe it. That's rare for the both of them to be able to use the Mokuton as well. How far have they gotten? Well, at the moment they're only able to manipulate small bushes and the grass. They seem to be intertwined more with the leafy part of nature than the wood style. But still, they're coming along. I wanted to do something different from the academy, but I'm not sure yet. What do you mean? Well, given the fact that they already started the academy, Kushina is insisting that they go all through the 5 years so that they could be ready for anything the world had to throw at them. But you and I both know that you're different. Not to mention Naruto with that bloodline of his. So I want them to get training. Other than being a shinobi, a part of a genin team. They're still gonna be genins, but I'm thinking about making Yamato take them on as his students. Wait, all of them? I know it's strange to have these team like this, but he's the only one that can teach them how to perform the Mokiton. Me and Kushina can go as far as just showing them the scroll. We don't want them to mess up and do something out of the way to hurt themselves, so Yamato is the only one. What about Naruto? Asked Jiraiya. Well, he's different. He has all of them. We can only show him here and there, but we can't actually show him what to do on that. But he's coming along quite well. He's got down the ice release. Not perfectly yet, but his sound release, it has been coming along wonderfully. He can shatter a tree by simply aiming one attack towards it. Imagine what that can do to an opponent. Even though I have warned him not to do anything explosive at school, the children would be able to handle it. Well, yeah. You know, if this was back in the old days, he would already be on the front line. Yeah. He's far out of the academy training session already. But not only him, Sesame Uchiha and Sasuke Uchiha. Although Sesame is a lot stronger than her brother though. The girl does seem to have a knack for all things when it comes towards Uchiha. Learning the fireball jutsu at such a young age. The girl, Fukaku seemed to focus on her a lot. He calls her his little princess, just like how Mito is with me. But he wants her to be as strong as possible, so he focused on her training a lot. But I think he's leaving Sasuke behind a bit. But he's still catching up though. But Sesame is a lot stronger. So you think they should all be out of the academy by now? Yeah, her mother Mikoto told me about it, but she also wants them to go through the school years and not rush things. Well, I'm with them on that, said Jiraiya. After all, we're not in war times right now, and they're still just kids. Let them enjoy their kids' days. Yeah, said Minato. Don't want to push them to something they're not ready for. So how's the summonings coming along, Jiraiya asks. Well, Naruto has been summoning those lions all over the places. They seem to be quite adept at roaring though, something that alarmed many of the villagers lately. I had to make a public announcement. The Lions also want to teach him something when he's older. Sage mode. Huh. You know, never expect your kid to have a summoning contract with Lions. I would like to see what Sage mode look like for them. I wonder if it's any difficult from Toad Sage mode. Well, Mito has a contract and soon enough I think that she's gonna be ready. Well, in a couple of years. But she's a strong girl, you know that, right? Yeah, said Minato. And Menma. Sarutobi has made him sign the contract of the monkeys. And he seemed to be coming along quite well with it. He's learning the bow staff fighting technique. Minato looks sad at that. What's wrong? Well, they're learning from other people. And they're hardly asking for my help. Well, that's a given, said Jiraiya. What? They don't want to learn from you because they want to surpass you. I mean, think about it. Why would they want to learn from you? I mean, they do ask you for other things though. Yeah, like pointers here and there. But not trading. Because they want to surpass you. They don't want to learn exactly what you learn. Well, I guess you're right, said Minato. But still, they're my kids. Well, and I'm sure that they're gonna be hella proud when they finally achieve the level that they want to achieve. And surpass you. Well, who doesn't want that for their children to surpass them? To be ready to face off the world out there. And to be ready for anything. As Jiraiya nodded at that. Oh, don't worry then. I'm sure in a couple of years you would hear the names Mito, Naruto, and Menma Senju all around the elemental nations. Minato chuckled at that. Yeah, sure you will, he said. As his kids were coming along so great, that thought was on the back of his mind, yes. Although, with these great acknowledgements, there also brought a great number of enemies. Something that he warned them about numerous times before. Minato has a lot of enemies. And not to mention with the recent developments in kids, which brought them a lot of pride to know that they could do the Mokitan. It's gonna bring them a lot of enemies as well, and people who want to kidnap them. But Minato had made precautions for that just in case. Time skip. As the family was around the dinner table, as they were eating, as Naruto was not eating, seemed to be fidgeting about something. Naruto-kun, what's wrong, said Kushina. As Nade looked up. Yeah, you hardly touch your food. Minato looked towards his boy, as he wondered what was wrong. Well, there's something I would like to know, he said. About what? Asked Kushina. What does bitch mean, he said. Minato's eyes bulged as he had to contain himself from spitting out the drink that he was drinking. Who told you that, said Snavy. Who, Naruto-kun asked Kushina. I just hear it. From who, she asked. On the road, he said. Where? I don't remember, he said to her. As Minato looked towards her, she was scaring the poor boy. She released a sigh. Naruto-kun, listen to me. Don't ever repeat that word. Ever. That's a very, very bad word. Do you understand me, she said. As Naruto nodded frantically. Who is going around the village, saying these things in front of kids? Asked Snaddy as she looked towards Minato. He simply shrugged as he had no idea. As her eye twitched. How was he supposed to know, he wondered? His mother can really be upset at some things for no reason at some time. As Naruto looked down towards his food, he was sure now that he could not let them find out. Damn it, he cursed in his mind. As Menma looked towards his brother strangely. Later that night, as Naruto's door opened up, as Menma walked in, as Naruto was just sitting there, thinking about something. Huh? What is it, he said. You call Sesame bitch, right? I know she's holding it over your head. How did you know? Well, that's a bad word and you must know that. But you don't know exactly what it means. Do you? Naruto asked. No idea, said Menma, as he sat down. But I know it's a bad word. You know if mom finds out, or Snaviheim, they couldn't even call her grandmother. She warned them too much time. They're gonna be angry at you, right? Really, really angry. As Naruto sighed, why can't you just get along with her? Why do you do things like this? Look, she's really mean to me, okay? She just don't let you guys see it. She's a real Ecom himself. Guess I'm already in too much trouble, he said. What am I gonna do? I have no idea. Guess you are in deep trouble for this one when they find out. Not unless I do whatever she wants. Whatever she wants? Yeah. That's the deal that she made with me. She won't tell as long as I do whatever she wants. Huh. Well, just don't piss her off, and I'm sure that she will keep that secret. Well, as long as you live, ask Minma. Huh. Well, by the time I'm old enough, Mom won't be that angry because it would be a long time ago, right? I'm not too sure, said Minma. You know, you could give me some calming words like, yeah, everything's gonna be fine. And what kind of brother would I be if I said that? You know, I kind of enjoy seeing you get in trouble sometimes. Minma ran as Naruto threw the pillow and slammed the door. Damn it, said Naruto as he lay down. What could she want, he thought to himself. Time skip. As the group made their way towards school. Alright, be safe. And have a wonderful day, okay? Said Kushina as she kissed the three of them. Mom, said Naruto. What? Can't kiss my babies again. Or not babies anymore. Yeah, said Mito. Kushina got a sad look on her face. I'm sorry, Mom, said Mito. I'll be your baby as she hugged her leg. As Kushina looked towards the other two. As Naruto sighed. Yeah, we'll be your babies, he said. Have a good day today, said Mikoto. As she kissed Sasuke in the forehead, who tried to look stern. But he had a bit of a red mark on his cheek, a bit embarrassed, as everyone is looking over at the scene. As she hugged Sesame, who hugged her back. I love my mother, she said. As the both of them break apart. That's where you're mad at the princess. And you're mad at the prince, she said. She looked towards Sasuke, who simply looked away with a slight huff. She just giggled at that. Always trying to be the rebellion one. Have a good day, both of them said, as the kids made their way. As Sasuke looked over. Another 2 years, he said. I can't wait until we graduate the academy and finally become ninjas. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome, said Minma, as he bumped his fist in the air. Real ninjas. Usually Minma was calm on certain things, but he couldn't just wait until he became real ninjas. Minma had a goal. Unlike Naruto, he wanted to be Hokage. Naruto wanted to be the strongest person in the elemental nations. And Mito wanted to be the strongest Kunoichi. Sesame didn't really tell anyone her goal, and that was strange. She just said that she was thinking about it. Sasuke wanted to be the most powerful Uchiha, even stronger than his brother. He's hardly seen his brother these days, as he's always out on missions. As they made their way, Sesame walked over towards Naruto. How are you feeling today, Naruto-kun? What do you want, said Naruto. I can't ask you how you're feeling? Minma looked towards Naruto. Sorry, I'm feeling wonderful, Sesame-chan. She looked towards him, as a slight smirk came in her face. Well, I'm happy, Naruto-kun, she said, as the both of them continued to walk. Huh. Since when did you guys add suffix to your name? Said Mito. Recently, said Sesame, as Naruto simply grumbled at that. He really didn't like her, as she had that look on her face. Cocky, a rather cocky smirk with it. As they made their way towards the class, arriving, screams could be heard from the other girls. You know, I don't know what they see in you guys, said Mito as she looked at Sasuke and then at Minma and then at Naruto. The girls in this class were just crazy. Well, we can't help it if we're awesome, said Naruto. As he waved towards the girls, the screams intensified. As he was kind of cool. Yes, regarding all the girls. Minma was the type to be alone and cool. Sasuke was a quiet, brooding type that girls found themselves crazy over. And Naruto was the smiling, handsome bad boy type as well. And they just lost it over the three of them. The three populous boys in the class, who all hang out together, the girls, sometimes just gonna pick. Well, there was different section of fangirls that regarding Minma and that regard Naruto and that regard Sasuke. Given the fact that Naruto talked back to his, he had more, as Sasuke didn't seem to be interested. Minma was just shy. And there was also a girl that he liked as well, so that is why he never really, well, talked back to the others. Since that day when they were kidnapped, and they were brought over to Hyugas and they spent time talking to them, he had this little crush on. He glanced up towards the seat. Hey Hinata, said Mito as they made their way up, as Hinata waved back to her best friend, as Sesame walked over before she was stopped by a horde of fanboys. Yes, the boys in the class were obsessed over her. Being in the top spot for the strongest Kunoichi in the class, always confident and sweet, they were drooling. She could literally tell them anything to do and they will do it. Something that she didn't really like that much. She liked the popularity, but they were just annoying. And for her status as daughter of the clan head, they weren't in her league. That is how she saw it. Sesame was kind of spoiled when it comes towards certain things. Well, she was just sticking her ways. That is why, right now, the favor was gonna come into perfect action. Hello boys, she said, as she greeted them with a smile. Hello Sesame, they all said, their eyes sparkling. Would you like anything, one of them asked. Water? Something to drink, he asked. They would go out of their way to just get her attention. I did the homework for you, one of them says. He put the homework down on the table. Oh, thank you, she said. She really liked this part. But the other part she didn't like, the annoying part. But a smile came on her face. At least she could make fun of him. Naruto-kun, she said. As Naruto turned away from the girls. What? She looked rather sad at that. All the boys around her eyes narrowed in rage. Hey, as Naruto glared towards them. He didn't have time for them. They were just a bunch of idiots. As they backed away. Yes, they all knew that they could not defeat him. So why bothered? After all, when he went up to the upperclassmen and started to beat up kids larger than them and older than them, they knew who was the alpha dog in here. As he walked over towards Sesame. Can you get me some juice? Where would I get you juice? Oh, I don't know. I'll do it, Sesame-chan. No, it's okay, she said. She looked towards the other boy. Would you please go get me some juice? I'm thirsty. Or perhaps I should speak to your mother later. As Naruto's eye twitched violently. No, I'll get you the juice, he said. What would you like? Surprise me, she said. As Naruto marched off, moments later he came back with a box juice. Sesame looked over the grape. What? Said Naruto. Oh, I already got one. As she had the apple juice in her hand. He here got it for me. She didn't remember his name, so she didn't say it. So why did you... Oh, I'm no longer thirsty. You can bring that back or keep it if you want it, she said. Oh, I'll keep it, said Naruto. I'll keep it. As his fingernails started to dig into the box. As the thing bursts. Look what the mess you caused. Do you mind cleaning that up? I don't want the class to smell like grape, she said. As Naruto took in several deep breaths. Well, he could at least try something as he kneeled down towards the ground. His eyes pulsed as he froze the grape juice and picked it up. The ice. He then broke it in his palm as there was nothing left. Whoa. That was awesome, the girls screamed as Naruto turned towards them. Sesame just smiled to herself. She wasn't done having fun yet. Oh, Naruto-kun. As Naruto took a deep breath. Yes, Sesame-chan, he said. Would you mind massaging my shoulders? They're hurting me a bit. The boys in the class started to foam. Why wouldn't your princess ask them to do that? I'm kind of busy. Oh, but you would stop what you're doing and do it for me. Wouldn't you, Naruto-kun, she said. Alright, fine, said Naruto. His hands got incredibly cold and Sesame shivered a bit. What's wrong with your hands, she said. Oh, nothing. This is just how cold my hands are. Alright, stop, she said. They're too cold. As he smirked. At least he got out of that. I wouldn't mind my feet getting a bit cold. Oh, okay, that's Aruka came in the class. Alright, settle down, he said. As Sesame just smiled. You might want to keep your manners in check, Naruto-kun. I mean, I still have that little word over your head. Alright, Aruka said. Would you all get to your seats? As everyone made their way. As Sesame grabbed Naruto's hand as she patted the chair beside her. As she had forced no one to sit there. Naruto sighed as he sat down. He really wanted to sit over there, where his friends were and his brother, but no, he had to sit here. As he looked towards Menma, who just gave him a thumbs up as he was smiling. That betrayer as well. Time skip in a dark underground bunker space. The yummy of shinobis. Danzo Shimura was calmly sitting down. In front of him there was a man bowing with a mask. As he gave Danzo a report. As Danzo took the paper and read it over. Danzo was like his sensei Tobirama. He did not trust the Uchihas one bit. Recent reports have been saying that the Uchihas were planning a coup Yes, they were having secret meetings. Lately, they have been going quiet, but Danzo only feel like they're hiding better, and he did not trust them. And Minato Namikaze did not see. He did not see the problem with the Uchihas. Yes, he did not see it at all. Danzo had no one to fully investigate. He was trying to get close to that boy, the Onvo Itachi Uchiha. But it was hard. The boy seemed to love his clan and family too much. There was another one though. Shisui, the teleporter. Uchiha that has mastered the Sunshin technique so perfectly. Not to mention recent reports on his eyes. Is Mangita Sharingan that he awoken grant him the ability to control one's mind? Danzo could use that. Danzo was doing this out of his own greed. The Uchiha clan was too powerful. Too powerful indeed. They had so much power in their ranks. Everything was just spiraling out of control and he was being pushed back into the darkness, which he loved, but he also wanted to see how the light was going as well. After all, you can't rule everything in the darkness. Sometimes you need to step out in the light to see how things are going and then return back to the darkness. Because the darkness is at home after all. That is why he needed the Uchiha clan gone. A political statement, the Hyugas weren't as powerful even though they thought that they were on the same level as Uchihas. No, they weren't. Fukaku was too more powerful when it comes to political means. He has been talking with the daimyo, they were friends. Not to mention other alliances that Uchiha had out of the village, which Danzo hated. He believed that they were corrupting Konoha. Despite everything going so well, Danzo's mind was just so corrupted to the point. So he was gonna put matters into his own hands. He was gonna exterminate them himself. No one knew that Root was alive, so the attack would be swift and fast. As Danzo was planning on taking all of the head powers down. That made Fukaku and the military force of the Uchihas, the civilians, the kids could be used for his benefit. Having Uchiha roots would be immensely great. As Danzo smiled to himself, yes, things were going perfectly, and he knew the perfect time to strike, as he got the recent mission reports back, and he knew when the ninjas are going out on missions, and he knew when the patrols are gonna stay in. He was gonna eliminate all the head factors. Well, he was gonna get help from a certain man out of the village, which he believed should be long dead by now, until his roots spotted a man who was all keen in doing him this as a favor. And once that is dealt with, he will make sure that that man dies as well. After all, he couldn't have him going around like that. He was supposed to be long dead by now after all. As Danzo smirked, not even knowing the hell and the trouble that he was gonna start at the moment. And that trouble might end up putting him right in the grave. After all, he should know that Senju Minato was a lot different from Hiruzen. A lot different. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part, so do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn that bell notifications to stay posted. But I'm off for now, see you guys soon. Peace.